Scully Productions.
What's up, Joe? What's up, everybody? Joining me today on Sports360 is Charisse Dash, an MLB PA certified agent who, along with her partner Alex Cotto, recently negotiated a 5-year, $70 million contract for client Yoan Moncada. It stands as one of the largest deals of its type in Major League Baseball. That this lucrative deal was negotiated by a woman of color is notable in an industry that remains dominated by men. In addition to discussing her latest deal, Charisse will also share her story concerning her journey through the sports industry so far. And she'll give us a glimpse of what lies ahead as she strives to continue to make her mark. It's an inspiring chat, so don't go anywhere, as we have Charisse Dash coming up next on Sports 360. Joining me today on Sports 360 is Major League Baseball agent Charisse Dash. Charisse, how you doing today?
I'm good, Jeff. How are you?
I'm doing good too, Charisse. I'm doing really well, and I'm glad to have you on the show today because, among other things, you've just completed a pretty significant deal for one of your clients, Yoan Moncada, with the Chicago White Sox, and want to talk to you about that deal and about a bunch of other stuff too, in terms of your career as an agent and so on. But first of all, congratulations on negotiating what was a 5-year, $70 million deal for Moncada. Congratulations on that.
Thank you. And I want to also congratulate my partner, Alex Cotto, who was an intricate part of the deal as well. And Alex had known Moncada for such a long time to bring him into the movement, and we were able to just get him a good deal and really start getting his life going.
Oh, that's great. That's great. And yeah, congratulations to Alex as well. And just so people know, when you say bring them into the movement, you're talking about the Movement Management Group, which is your agency. So
Correct.
yeah. Yeah, but I mean, Charisse, in baseball over the past few years, players, agreeing to extensions, has been all the rage. And so a lot of players want to get extensions, and not all extensions are necessarily good for the player. But, again, for you and for Alex, you did a great job. Again, the terms of the deal, 5 years, $70 million guaranteed with an option that would increase the value of the deal to $90 million. And it's one of the better or top extensions out there for a player in Moncada's service class. So you had to feel good about that. Not just getting an extension, but getting a solid deal for your player.
Yeah, that was really important for us. I mean, thanks to you and the union and assisting us in getting all the information that we need, and really, setting us to do a good job for Moncada was important. And for us to make sure that this being our first extension of this caliber, to make sure that we went out and did all of our homework and go out and negotiate the best deal that we can for him, given where he was and given what he did in 2019. And I think it came together very nicely. I mean, Jeremy Haber was pleasant to work with, and just being able to be prepared for it and going in and negotiating the best deal and looking at what would be what would be a good deal. What would we want for Moncada? When would we want him hitting free agency? And I think it all came together nicely.
Yeah, and you hit on a lot of interesting points there, right? Because it's not just the dollars that you're concerned about, right? But you talked about when you would hit free agency, meaning once this contract is over, how old would he be when he's a free agent? And so that's important. But just talk a little bit more about that. Why is that so important?
Well, when originally we started having the conversation with the Chicago White Sox, they have more so like a template of what they've done on the extensions with Eloy Jimenez and Luis Robert and Tim Anderson, Aaron Bummer, a couple of the other guys that they've already had this set structure in mind. So for us going in, the structure was the most important piece of it before we actually even got to the dollars. We wanted to make sure that structure was a structure we can live by and was the right structure for Yoan. A lot of the other guys that were extended a lot younger, less service time. So Yoan came in with being in a very good position in terms of negotiation, and I feel what we wanted was to be able to get him identical to where Eloy was and Luis Robert were, which is they get out around 29 for their, and they're able to enter free agency. And we wanted that for Yoan. We wanted something close to that for him. Originally, the Chicago White Sox wanted us to look at that. The deals that they did previously were the 6+2 deals, and we knew doing a 6+2 deal for Yoan was not in his best interest. So we were able to then, really negotiate the structure down. We wanted that Alex Bregman deal, right? The Alex Bregman deal for the 5+0. And we even went in and said, okay, can we have a 6+0? And we were shot down. And then we were able to find that middle ground. And that is how we ended up on the 5+1. And, knowing that he will be able to enter free agency at 30 was something that was important to us. We ideally wanted 29. We weren't able to get it. Just because of precedent that they didn't want to set within their organization. So, and when I say they, Chicago White Sox, so we were able to then just, go in and really negotiate a 5+1 structure that was fair to both sides.
Right, and you mentioned Alex Bregman, who a year ago and did a contract with the Houston Astros for a straight 5 years.
Yeah.
And that is a structure that you said you were trying to get here, and you ended up with 5 years plus an option. But even if the option is exercised, Yoan will be 30 years old and in position to get another contract, if all goes well. Now, Charisse, I'm going to say, we mentioned Bregman. I did a little research, and for players in Yoan's position, with more than 2 but less than 3 years of major league service, on an AAV, only Mike Trout and Alex Bregman have secured more lucrative contracts as a position player than this deal for Yoan. How do you feel about that, knowing that this is one of the largest deals of its type for the service class that Yoan is in?
It was really exciting to hear that after the deal came through. I got to be honest, though, Jeff, I was just trying to go in there and try to make the best, get the best money for the client and put him in a position that he can go out and monetize if he has a great year going into free agency at 30 and able to get the bigger deal that, in essence, all guys work so hard for. So for me to hear that, I mean, I'm very grateful, first of all, to God and Alex for having this client relationship. And what we really try to do, Jeff, is just do the best that we possibly can with the information we have and go in and negotiate the best deal for Yoan. I didn't even think about it being, the best in the class or close to the best in the class. I was just trying to do a good job for the client. But it's great to hear nonetheless. And we were as wowed as I'm sure a lot of those that have been reading about the deal once that information came out. But we just wanted to keep our head down and just negotiate the best deal for Yoan. And I'm glad that he was able to be one of the best in the class because that's very rewarding for us as well.
No doubt, no doubt. Now, Charisse, let's talk a little bit about your journey, your career as a sports agent in baseball. First of all, not that many women in the game as agents in baseball, and even fewer women of color. Now, you started when 2001 as an agent in baseball?
Yeah, so I started with a family member that they call him in the Dominican Republic. Who he actually has academies in the Dominican and Sweet Pea, right? So I started with him during law school around 2001. And, I started just scouting players in the Dominican Republic. My parents are from the Dominican Republic. I speak fluent Spanish. I'm constantly there. I have a lot of family members there. So it was home to me. So I would go back frequently. And when I was in law school, he's like, listen, I need a lawyer to start representing some of the guys that I have. And he's like, let me teach you baseball. So always had a love for the sport. And he would bring me into different areas in the Dominican Republic to scout guys, right? Scout players. And one of the players that we scouted together was Carlos Santana. And Carlos Santana, I signed him to his first deal with the Dodgers. And from there, I was working in what's called the July 2nd market in the Dominican Republic and kept on doing it. But prior to I didn't really start full time until 2007. I would do it as I graduated law school, I passed the bar, and I went in-house and worked for Payne Weber, UBS, and Metropolitan Life Insurance Company, and had this as an outside business activity, but didn't give it my full. I did a lot of SEC, NESC arbitrations, and then I didn't give it my full attention until about 2007, which is when I left in-house and decided to do baseball full time.
Now, you mentioned there, right, and I just want to point out and emphasize a little bit more that you are a licensed attorney, and you also have an undergraduate degree in mathematics. So
Yes.
you can crunch the numbers, and you can also, uh, negotiate the language. So that has to be helpful, right, in this current line of work, right, because numbers clearly are important, knowing the player's value in the market and all the rest of that, but also dealing with contracts and just dealing with the collective bargaining agreement and all those types of things. So you got it covered on both ends. So that has to be helpful to you as an agent.
Yeah, it was extremely helpful. I think I was a math major and I graduated from Seton Hall University as a math major. And one of the lines of what I actually wanted to do, and as a kid you change so much, but I actually wanted to be an actuary for a really long time and a statistician, and then I went into law school, changed that, and then so your path changed, but your interests still remain the same, and numbers is definitely something that I'm extremely interested in, and definitely my law degree did help me negotiate this deal as well as negotiate others as well. So it really has paid off for me.
So Charisse, in your career as a sports agent, and again, one of the few women agents in baseball, what have been some of what you would say your biggest challenges along the way as you have gotten to this point, right, of doing this deal and doing some other great work? What along the way has been some of the biggest challenges that you faced?
Wow. Well, it's a very male dominated industry. I think that it's been hard in a whole, a lot for a lot of reasons, Jeff. And I think it's, I try to just be as tenacious as possible and try to just persevere in it. I don't try to look at the fact that, oh my God, there's only men in this industry. How am I going to make it in this industry? I just try to do the best work and keep my foot forward, but it hasn't been easy. First of all, you have your big agencies out there. So to compete and stay alive in this industry and just have your boutique sports agency is even harder, right? So I've had a lot of things go be difficult and be obstacles in this industry. From you deal as a female with sexual harassment, you deal with non-acceptance, you deal with being set aside, not being taken seriously. But, I can't give mind to any of this. I can't pay it too much attention. I just have to keep going, right? Because I'm not going anywhere, and I plan to be here for a very long time. So, I have to just know that this is just part of life and just keep going. So, but it has been nothing easy. The union has been great. They've always been very welcoming. However, as a female in this, it's not an easy path. So, but nonetheless, I'm here and I'm not going anywhere. So, I look forward to doing these types of deals and a lot of others going forward.
And what are some of the things, as you go about, clearing the hurdles and overcoming the challenges, and really hats off to you too, right, for not making excuses, right? Because I heard what you're saying. Yeah, there's a lot of things out there, a lot of challenges, a lot of things that may not be fair or all the rest of it, but you're not making any excuses, right? You're just rolling up your sleeves and you're going after it, and you're establishing yourself and have established yourself in the industry. But what are some of the things though that you have found to be enjoyable? There are some challenges, of course, but there has to be some things that you do enjoy. What about that?
The things that I enjoy, Jeff, and I'm glad you put that because that's what keeps me going every day. I genuinely enjoy service. One of the things that I tell everyone that works in my agency, I say to Alex, I say to my assistant every day is, we're here to negotiate the best deal that we can for a client, but we're here to do one thing, which is to service our clients. That's what sets us apart as females, especially in this industry. Our nurturing character automatically takes into play. I'm a mother of 5, so I see all of my clients in that light, and I try to service them in a way that they feel that they have the attention that they need. And I love to see, guys work for a challenge and get there and make a lot of money based on their talent. And a lot of these clients, at least my clients, I deal a lot with the Latin American, client base, and just to see them come from very humble beginnings to where they are and see them grow as men, see them go and change their lives dramatically. That is to me more rewarding than going out and doing a $90 million deal, right? Just to see the tenacity by which they go through life and, are able to change their life from day to night in a matter of months is very rewarding to me. And I like servicing, appreciative individuals, and I've been blessed. My client base has been extremely loyal, has been extremely appreciative, and that's what I really enjoy. I really love servicing, Jeff. I think that's for me been what has kept me going. And and I'll continue doing it because I love to serve.
And Charisse, that is such an important point that I think for young people, male or female, who want to get into the business, that they need to understand it's, this Jerry Maguire, show me the money type stuff. Yeah, that's for television and for movies. And yes, you're going to negotiate contracts, but there's a lot of day-to-day servicing, as you say, of the player, which is really the lion's share of the work. Because listen, like here, you've done the deal for Moncada. It's in place, but you are not now in a position to go and get on the beach chair and put your feet up. There's still work to do day in and day out. And so that servicing aspect of it is truly something that's important and something that should be shared with those who are looking to get into the industry. Let me ask you this, Charisse, as a woman and as a woman of color in the industry, how important is it for you to mentor other young ladies and young women who want to get into the industry? Is that something that you find to be important as part of what you're doing at this stage of your career?
Yeah, listen, I had a great mentor, Jeff, and I have to mention him because he actually is what, he taught me how to negotiate, and it's Larry Reynolds and yourself. And, for me to be able to actually pass that along, especially to a female of color, I'm all for it. And I actually want to start now bringing some interns. I know you had introduced me to a young lady that I want to go out Atlanta and meet, because I think that this industry needs a lot more women, and women of color. I mean, we are as intelligent, as dynamic as any other, and I think that we are very passionate. Where a lot of our passion and our emotion can be seen and can be felt, and I think that is something that, you know, is invaluable. You know, when you're out there and you have a human touch to things, and not to say that other nationalities aren't, but it's part of it's part of who we are. You know, you're going to know the majority of us women of color who go in, we're passionate, we're very, you know, emphatic about what we believe, and I can't emphasize enough that I absolutely am open to have and to teach someone else, because I was taught by Larry Reynolds, and I was taught by yourself, Jeff, and you know, those are valuable teachings for me that will go, you know, that have made me who I am in the industry. And I think that I want to pass that along and be able to actually encourage young women that this is an industry that you absolutely can thrive in and do well, right? Because it's not just entering in it, it's staying with it, sticking with it, and having success. And I think that there is something to say to that. And I would absolutely welcome and that is my desire, is to pass the torch along to another female of color who can go out and do bigger and better things than I'll ever do, and empower them to enter industries that are not, you know, set for us. And, you know, sky's the limit.
Yeah.
That's my thought.
Sure. Yeah, and you're absolutely right. I mean, this industry, meaning not just baseball, but the sports industry, not only needs more women, but women in positions of power, right?
Mm-hmm.
Decision makers, movers and shakers, and it's coming, and it's on the horizon. And we've seen some great strides made, but certainly there's still a lot of work to do, and that's why it was important to me, Charisse, to have you on the show today, because having done one of the larger deals of its type in baseball, that's meaningful, and I think it can serve as an example and as inspiration, to young girls and to young women who are thinking about entering the industry or are in the industry. And you also made an interesting point. I heard you say it's not just entering in, but staying in the industry and enjoying success, right? Because that's the goal, right? To come into it, have success, make a difference, leave your mark, and set a trail and a path for others to follow. And whether you realize it or not, you're doing that. And so, just want to be able to point that out, that you are doing that for future generations to follow behind you. And I think that is important to be a part of the change that we're seeing in baseball.
Yeah, and it's definitely refreshing, Jeff, and thank you for those words. But it's really definitely refreshing to see women entering, even in the front office. We represent a gentleman that we did a deal for, the only major league deal this year that the Colorado Rockies gave, which was Jose Mojica, a pitcher that came off of Tommy John surgery from the Tampa Bay Rays organization. He was a top prospect with Tampa Bay. And, during the off season, this free agency season, there was a lady by the name of Dana, and her last name right now escapes me, on the Phillies, that I was shocked to see a female in that position calling to negotiate a deal. And I think I was, happily was like, okay, I think Jose Mojica needs to go here just because this is a female that's there. But I was like, it wasn't the best deal for him. But just to
Right.
see that, just to see that alone is very, promising. And there's still a lot to be done. I mean, but, it'll get there, and Major League Baseball and just organizations in general will get there, because the reality is there are a lot of talented females out there, and very educated and talented, and they can do as much as a male can do. And once the industry starts moving towards that direction, even if it's in baby steps, we'll see a difference soon. And I hope we see it, in my lifetime at least, because that would be extremely rewarding to see.
Yeah.
So we'll see. We'll see how it goes.
Yeah. And Charisse, I really do
know?
believe we're seeing it, whether it's, you're seeing, more women become coaches, and assistant coaches in basketball and, coaches in baseball, hitting instructors and so on. Is it widespread? No, nowhere close. But are those steps starting to be made? Yes. Are barriers being broken down? Yes. And I think we have to continue to advocate and push for those and for those changes to be made. And yeah, I believe that we are in the midst of change, and so that's exciting to see. Hey, Sharice, why don't you tell us a little bit about your company, the Movement Management Group? You mentioned earlier that that it was great to have Joanne become part of the movement, and I want people to understand that you're talking about the Movement Management Group, which is your agency. Tell us a little bit about the agency and what it does.
So when I started in baseball, I had an agency by the name of Draft Pick Sports Agency, and then I changed it, and it was doing business as DPX Sports. And then my husband has a very close relationship with Angie Martinez, and she's on 105.1's husband, Aronde Garrett, and Aronde was looking for a place to join, and I was at a stage in my career where I said, okay, I want to do something big in baseball. Do I join a bigger agency, or do I stay still solo and boutique? And the Sharks are out, Jeff. So when you're solo and boutique, you're always constantly on the defensive, and especially a female. It's funny because I get all other agents telling me she doesn't know what she's doing. She's a woman. She's never done. And I'm sitting back and I'm like, I have more education than half of the men there in the industry and where I was and the type of clients I was going after. And I would always chuckle. I never use any negativity when I'm recruiting a client. Don't have an interest in speaking bad about your agent. Let my service speak for itself, because I service the heck out of my clients, Jeff. I mean, I do things that probably no agent would do because
Right.
I have to set myself apart, right? So I will never forget, just, saying to myself, okay, I'm at a crossroads. What do I do? Do I join a bigger agency? I remember approaching Casey Close and him shooting me down. I remember approaching everyone. And it's funny because, and I say this now with a chuckle because it makes me laugh, but I also remember saying I was so close to actually joining Rock Nation just because of the history of my family. And I was just like, you know what? I don't know if I want to go that route either. So my husband, thank God to my husband, he said, Charisse, I have a great idea. Aronde Garrett, he's in film and TV. He's looking to join somewhere bigger. He might go to Rock Nation. He was thinking of different places to go. And we sat down and we just vibed and it worked out. We joined forces and we joined the Movement Management Group. We have TV and film. We have, some speakers that we represent and baseball. And we're looking to grow as, and join a bigger force soon to come, which the announcement will come soon enough. But he has Jesse Williams, who he manages on the TV and film and TV side, Idris Elba, Marseille Martin, the little girl on Blackish. So it's been a fun run, and he is the husband of Angie Martinez, who's the voice of New York on 105.1. And so we're just and we joined. We had made Alex Cotto, who had worked in the front offices for a really long time on the international side, join the movement, and it's been great. So there's 3 partners. We're very small. We're going to be doing bigger things. There's going to be a bigger announcement, and we're just trying to. So when Joanne joined the movement, Pedro Strop joined the movement. We have Randy Rosario, Robel Garcia. We have Robert Poisson, who got the $5.1 million from Oakland this past summer, this 2019 July 2nd. So we're staying quiet and just trying to make some noise, and And so when I say join the movement, that's what he joined. He joined what to us was important, which is to make a movement. And this is a minority-owned agency, and we're trying to manage talent, and we're trying to just move the industry a little bit to what it needs to what it needs to look like, which is minorities in a managerial and powerful positions. And that's where, that's what the movement stands for. We're Black owned, and we continue to really focus on that and focus on making a difference as a minority owned agency.
You said something interesting there. You said that we're remaining quiet but making noise, which I thought was really interesting. I know exactly what you mean, right? Is that you're just out there doing your thing, right?
Yep.
You're not shouting it from the rooftops or anything else. You're just out there doing your thing, and you're letting your actions do your talking. So, so being part of the movement. But it sounds really interesting, right? Because of the intersection that within your agency, you have a real intersection with sports and entertainment. And there's a natural intersection with sports and entertainment, right? Athletes want to be entertainers, entertainers want to be athletes, right? And so you have all that, that kind of synergy there. But also, too, I would imagine that could also be something that's helpful to your baseball clients to have access to the entertainment world and not have to go out to a third party to get that access, right? Everything would be in-house.
Yeah, we actually also are merging in with a production arm very soon. So there'll be, production on film and TV side that'll be joining the movement. And what we're looking is to do a 360 nonstop shop where, our clients, and you're right, athletes want to be entertainers want to be athletes. And there's a marketing aspect of this that's extremely valuable within us, is that we have access to give those guys the ability to do something in addition to baseball, in addition to whatever sports they're in. And I think that, it's invaluable to be able to have access to that. And I think that we have access through our relationships that will be beneficial to our underlying baseball clients. So we're excited about this. We're excited about the venture. We're excited. And like I said, we're just going to quietly stay doing what we're doing and not make noise. It's not about us being in the press or us trying to take more shine than our clients. We're just trying to keep our heads down and just keep working. And I think that hopefully, and I pray, right, hopefully that our vision comes to light and our work can be seen and see what we do for our clients and how we service them across the board.
Sure. Now, Charisse, we're in the second week of March, so obviously that's spring training. I know that you were making a couple of cross-country trips in negotiating the Moncada deal. What does spring training look like for you between now and opening day?
So I'm back down in Arizona this month again. Have a couple of things lined up for Yoan off the field that I want to discuss with him. And we're still actively recruiting guys that really fit the way that we do business. We want, good people, not that, there are not good people out there, but, just like any other place, our shop is not for everyone, Jeff. We really like genuinely good people that want to, really develop themselves into something even beyond baseball, right? Pedro Strop is one of my clients, and we constantly discuss, what does it look like for Pedro Strop after baseball? Where does Pedro Strop want to be after baseball? Because the reality of the situation is, they're going to live more years not being baseball players than they are being baseball players. So to me, it's important to be able to, develop them professionally and have something else happen for them after baseball. So it looks that for me. We do a lot of, education and conferences for our clients internally and giving them just new ideas of how to recreate themselves after the sport. And it's going out there and recruiting during spring training. I should be down in Florida this next week and see our guys down there and, do everything that we agents do. So, it's a lot of traveling. It's a lot of time away from home, but it's rewarding at the end. So, that's what spring training looks like for me. And of course, try to add some more pieces. But I think that's important as well.
Sure. Yeah, I mean, so it doesn't stop. It gets back to the point, right? Yeah, you can
Yeah,
negotiate a lucrative deal, but you got to keep grinding. It continues to be a grind.
yeah,
Well,
it's a grind, an everyday grind.
yeah.
Absolutely, a fun grind
Well,
though. It's definitely an adrenaline rush.
sure. Well, Charisse, congratulations again on your success. I know it's just the tip of the iceberg. You got a lot of irons in the fire, and I'm sure we'll be hearing about other things that you and Alex and the movement uh, management group are doing. But certainly, congratulations on what you've been able to do so far. And I was thinking about this before our chat this morning, and when I first met you, and I believe it was in the early 2000s. I was still at
Mhm.
the Major League Baseball Players Association, and I remember Vicky Caballo was like
Yes.
giving you a tour of the office.
Mhm.
And I remember the introduction. And again, I mean, we're talking the early 2000s, and so I don't know if you were the only female agent at that time, but you were probably one of 4 or 5 at the
Yeah, I
most.
remember.
And
I remember that specifically because I remember everyone telling me, "And Vicky, are you sure you want to do this, little girl?" Let's
right,
go."
right. But to know that you have stuck with it and you really have, made your mark. And one of the things I appreciate is what is unsaid. Because I know the challenges and some of the challenges that you face that you didn't even talk about. You know what I mean? Because there's so many, because your eyes on the prize, and I give you credit for that. And I think because of that focus, it's allowed you to enjoy the success that you've had so far, and the greater success that I'm sure that is coming. So I just want to pass that along to you, encourage you, and say keep doing what you're doing and keep making a mark because it does make a difference.
Thank you, Jeff. I appreciate it. And yeah, just trying to, just trying to keep working. That's my motto is just keep my head down and keep my pen in my hands and come up with ideas and just go out there and grind because nothing's free and nothing's going to be handed to you and everything is work. So to me, that's how I take it. There's going to be obstacles in anything that you do. And if you let the obstacle take over your thinking, you're never going to get where you want to go. So just keep blocking the punches and keep going. And that's what I want to do is just keep blocking the punches and keep going.
And every now and then you want to get in a few too,
Oh, trust me, Jeff. You know me. I gotta throw down sometimes.
Yeah. Yeah. It's not all defense.
It's not all defense. Nope. There are some offense, but laugh those off after I have after a few drinks, I just laugh them off. But there are going to be some very uncomfortable moments, and it's just how do you learn from those moments and keep going. And I think that's what I try to do is look at everything as a teaching experience for myself and say, okay, what did I learn from this? What did I learn from this argument today? What did I learn from the other argument today? Right. But at the end of the day, it's trying to just do the best in service. And when you service, you're going to have arguments because you're protecting your prize, which is your client, right? And you got to see everything as a learning experience. And I think that's what I've tried to do, and it's been helpful for me to get through those obstacles and keep my eye on the prize.
Well, congratulations to doing that, and I'm really happy for you, and I know some greater things are ahead. So, Charisse, thanks for the time this morning. I know you're busy. I know you're running, but I appreciate you taking some time to talk with me this morning and to share a little bit of your story, and hopefully we'll have you back on again soon. But thanks for coming on this morning.
Thank you, Jeff. I appreciate it. Thank you for having me.
Okay, I'll talk with you soon.
Okay, bye-bye.